Are you unfulfilled? Do you feel like your life isn't exactly where you want it to be? Well, maybe it's time you climbed that second mountain. By David Brooks. This book is absolutely interesting in how he describes all of where you are, where you're going, and how you're going to continue to grow. I really like this, and I'm going to give you a few reasons why you should check this out too. David Brooks is an opinion columnist for the New York Times and is better known for his book, How to Know a Person. I'm going to start off on how this book applies to me. The last few years, I had some, let's say, health issues, and I had a meteoric rise in my career. I've been doing all these amazing things, had, been a leader, talked about, done things. Long story short, when my health took a hit, I started realizing, is Keith a supervisor? Is Keith a leader? Is Keith all these? I put all these titles and things around me, and I started realizing that when my health took a hit, all these things kind of eroded away, and I started realizing what was Keith as a person, and that was very profound to me, to realize that I was more than the titles I had been either given myself or had been given by organizations. And having just gone through that, I started realizing that I wanted to be more community oriented. I wanted to be more of a person that was giving out information and doing things, and that's really how I started the Leader's Tool Chest. It's a profound thing when you kind of do that dance with mortality, because when you're young you think, oh, I can do this forever, but then when you start having health issues, you start having financial issues, having marital problems, your children issues, there's like all these different things that kind of really awaken that, wow, what does it take to be happy, successful? And it's really different for everyone. And I think this book really kind of brings it out, and is profound in the way David Brooks has kind of written this to reach all these different people on how you can find that either your community or yourself and all these different things. And I really like how he's put that together. Number one, reveals a self-reflection mindset. I really enjoy the self-reflection of this book. How he's not just applying this to different people, and he's not just applying this to anyone other than himself. He does this whole dynamic of applying it to himself, giving different perspectives. That's normally in a really good book, but in here he really talks about how this is affecting him and all the people around him. And I really like the fact that it really does show there's such a deep philosophical journey of the two mountains. You go through the first mountain as you're going up through your career and all these different things that are inspiring you in the beginning, and then you plateau and you realize that maybe these things aren't as important, and that's when you go down through your valley, and then that's where you really begin your second climb of what am I doing for the people around me, for the world around me. I think that is such a good visual representation of, as a person, you get so stuck in these ways you think about how you're looking at the world, and he's offering such an interesting perspective on how you can affect so much more. And I think as a leader, we absolutely have to have that retrospective, perspective to be able to grow and to be able to affect all the people around us, because that's why we got into leadership in the first place. Number two, individualist versus relationalist. He talks about how in life you have these two different type of views. You have the individualist versus the relationalist. An individualist is someone that is driven by ego, and that's not always negative, it's the way you've described it. But it really does show that you just have these different things that are driving you as being the best, doing your best, being the top in your field. And the relationalist is how you start being more soul-driven, heart-driven, all these things about, it's not necessarily about you anymore, it's how you affect things. I really like that he breaks that down, because I don't feel like there's a lot of really profound books that talk about all these different hyper individualism that we have going on in this country and in the world right now. And he really does bring a lot of profound thoughts, and the way he describes these portions of your life that most people never get a chance to really break down. And I think this is a great, really important part of this book. And one more thing, this book is so good on so many levels, because it goes past your political affiliations, it goes past your beliefs, It goes past all these different things, and it just shows that there's nothing wrong with being a good person and being community oriented and having focus and drive in all these areas to improve yours and others' lives. That community focus is, I feel like, something that we're really kind of missing right now. And I love the fact that he talks about this and brings it up, that even though we have these social media platforms, it feels like we're becoming more and more disconnected from society. And I think he is bringing up a great point that we need to be more focused on building communities and being a part of the larger group. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I'm going to give this book a 4 out of 5. I really think he hits the nail on the head, and he really has a really interesting perspective on all this. And with that, give me a like and subscribe. We've had a lot of growth here the last couple months at the Leaders Tool Chest, and I'm excited about the future of this channel. With that, I hope you have a great day. Thank you.